On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Trump is back on the move at least this Pennsylvania rally he had, which is very good. Gets him out in front of people and gets him to be able to essentially clog the airwaves with what he needs to get out there, what messages he needs to go with. And so we've got some of that we're going to talk about. Some of it's mostly funny, but needless to say, it's good. And he's out there bringing bigger paychecks and lowering prices. Also, I'll be honest, guys, I'm impressed with how well we're doing in the big picture, considering how many conservative people we have against us. Very popular. Pretty much the biggest of the big. I can't speak totally across the board, but I could list off probably 5 major big people in our circles that are a part of the problem. Not maybe intentionally, but certainly part of the problem. Some of them, and we're going to talk about at least one good example, is intentionally doing it. It is what it is. And some of you guys are, going to disagree with me. Totally cool. It's always fun. I think a lot of you guys are probably on the same page already. I'm also super disappointed in somebody that I really did think he had our backs a lot more than he seems to. I'm going to bring that up because I have a double concern with this individual and his recent postings. So we'll see how that plays out as well, because I think I'm going to be attacking a couple people today. Try to be nice about it, though. I just basically have problems with people intentionally pushing misinformation. And again, sunlight's the best disinfectant, unquestionably. But yeah, we are going through some challenges, and it's cool. I love it. It's good times. Good times. So how else would I want the end of the world to be? Well, the end of the old world, I should say, the beginning of the new. It's going to be fantastic. This was posted. It's pretty awesome. Back in the day, I don't know, it was like Iran or somebody had the largest flag that they dove from an airplane in the sky. Needless to say, this has been, Make America Great. We're making America great. We beat the record. This is pretty cool. Check this out. It's a good way to start.
We will make America great again.
Put your hands in the air if you hear me out there. I've been looking for you day and night. Shine a light in the dark, let me see where you are. 'Cause I'm not gonna leave you behind. If I told you that you're not alone, and I show you this is where you belong. Put your hands in the air one more time.
Super cool. Now, what happened when that hit the ground, right? That obviously hit the ground. Do they have to burn it now? Or how does that work? Is there a way you can, treat a flag? Or is that, it's just a shame to burn a giant-ass flag like that. That's all I'm wondering. Anyway. We've also got this rapid response. POTUS shared this with us, an update on our American hero, the 2 National Guards members that were shot in the head. One of them obviously did not survive, but the second one, well, we've got some great news, in fact. Now, he's not totally out of the woods, but he's poking through the woods right now, and there's a good chance he's going to make it.
Washington, D.C., we had a tragic incident, as you know, with the 2 incredible people. What a terrible thing that was just 2 weeks ago, right? Did a terrible National Guard, terrible thing. Sarah and Andrew. Sarah passed away. She's looking at us from heaven, from above, and she was killed almost instantly. They kept her alive. Her parents came from West Virginia, another great state. Her parents are incredible. They couldn't believe it. She was 20 years old. Perfect. She was just getting a little promotion. They were so proud of her. She was on her way up. And she was shot in the head. The brain, shot in the head. They were able to keep her alive long enough for her parents to come in from West Virginia and say goodbye to her. And Andrew is the second one, who's also from West Virginia National Guard. Incredible people. And so they were both from West Virginia. And his mother's named Monica. And Monica's the most positive person I've ever seen. The night that he was so badly hit and the doctors gave him almost no chance, I called their hospital room and spoke to her. And she said, "Sir, he'll be fine." "Oh, no, I'm telling you, I'm praying. The whole country is praying. Sir, I'm telling you, don't worry about it. He's going to be fine." This is the mother talking to me. And the father's devastated. He's an incredible guy too, both. And I went and invited them to the Oval Office, and they came in. She said, "Sir, he's fine." It was amazing, actually. And today, Monica, she said, "We're all praying, and I'm praying." And then she called to say, "Sir, he moved his finger today." This is like 3 days later. He moved his finger. And today I got a call that he got up from bed. Do you believe that? He got up. He got up. Now, he didn't speak. He's not ready for that yet. He got hit in the head. But he got up, and boy, they're so happy. It's amazing. And the care that they've given him at the hospital, and the generals that have been there, the military that's been there, it's amazing. General Seward and others that, she said the level of love that your military has given to my boy. And by the way, Sarah's parents said the same thing. The love and the affection and the care that they're given, they can't even believe what's happened. But Andrew stood up today, and people even can't believe it. So the mother was amazing. Let's hope it continues. Look, it doesn't get much worse than what he did. Let's hope it continues.
We are in changing times. We are in powerful times. We are in times to show all of us what's larger than us. And at the same time, which I think is kind of beautiful, how we're a part of this, how we interact, how we are, I guess, a cog in the bigger wheel, but understanding that if you're missing a cog anywhere, that's going to cause a slip. That's going to cause a problem. You can't have broken cogs. You can't have missing cogs. Every single little spoke, every single one of them is important. And we all work together in unity and get a lot done. And this really is a moment where I think a lot of us, we might view, again, we might view ourselves as a number. We are just a number. I'm just a job. I'm just a person in a company. Are you? Because that's maybe you telling you that, but I'd say you're way more than that. Way more. We are changing the world. No small feat, by the way. Fortunately, we've got some great help, but we've also got some absolute douchebags working against us. This isn't one of them. Not really a good transition. I don't know where the douchebags are going to show up. I think disgust, if I remember correctly, is where I've got two of my douchebag stories. And the third one I'm just going to talk about. Elon Musk reveals his thoughts on God on Katie Miller's podcast. It's pretty cool. I like this. And I love his answer, by the way. Some of you guys won't, but you'll understand why I love it, because this is up my alley.
Who do you look up to the most?
The Creator.
What's your current position on God?
God is the Creator.
You don't believe in God, though, do you?
Well, I believe this universe came from something. People have different labels.
I love that. One of the problems that I think we have, and this is only because I've been somebody that's been awake way too long. Part of me almost wonders if it would have been easier, but I don't think it is. This is how it had to be. But just going through certain things, trying to ask questions and trying to get people to look at things slightly differently is an absolute assault. I learned it first in 9/11, just questioning that it wasn't terrorists that flew the planes into the building, just questioning that. And you were the biggest piece of shit on the planet. It was so weird. They'd question your patriotism, and at the time, I'm like, I'm almost being more patriotic than you. Screaming from the mountaintops, and everyone starts throwing tomatoes at you. It's so funny. A lot of people have this thought in their minds. They're like, well, if you knew the truth, you'd be out yelling it from the rooftops. And it's like, no, you wouldn't, actually. No, you wouldn't. Because you do it a few times and everyone thinks you're crazy. So you stop doing it. Being open to other ideas is easier said than done. And certainly having the balls to say things that are likely going to piss people off, or the, fallopian tubes or whatever, ovaries to do it. Probably better say ovaries. To have the ovaries to do it. Takes a lot of courage. And I love each and every one of you for having the guts to stand up, especially those of you that are that first person to stand up. And I'm not trying to take that from you, because we're all doing this in our own ways. You're doing it in your own unique environment, your own internal world. That is your first stand up, and many of you are already doing it. Maybe you were inspired by some of us. Cool, awesome. All right, you can be the second stand up. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, it matters that we stand up. His remarks on God are fantastic. There's definitely a creator. Definitely. Source, I like to call him. her. Actually, him's like just a weird thing. Like it's really not an appropriate pronoun because it's just this individual source created everything, created the heaven, the earth, the hell, boys and girls, everything in between, right? So it's, why would we assume it's a man? Kind of silly. It would probably be some sort of weird homogenized version of being. But all said, I don't know. Hope to meet Creator when I pass or when I go to the other side. And we'll see how it plays out. Just a reminder to everybody, and this is definitely a decent transition, Charlie Kirk's new book's out. I don't normally try to help other people sell their stuff, and this is going to the family, obviously, of Charlie Kirk. I don't know how much extra they had to do to finish writing this book, or if it just literally, it was finished writing, and maybe Charlie was going to spend more time kind of going through it, perusing it, fixing it, whatever, and maybe they went with a raw version of it. Well, not raw. I mean, they would have obviously read through it and fixed parts that just didn't read right or whatever, but who knows? Not sure how this played out. Needless to say, it's Charlie Kirk's book, Stop in the Name of God, Why Honoring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life. And again, just a cool concept, especially to the religious folk out there, certainly for those that want to try to help Charlie Kirk's family, and certainly for those that really understand what Charlie was and what he represents and how carrying on his understanding to one degree or another, essentially standing up and doing the Charlie Kirk dance, is also powerful and one of those things that many of us may be called to do, many of us may be really good at. Me, I don't like arguing. I don't like debating. I really don't. I just hate it, actually. I hate it. I don't give a shit. Like, if somebody disagrees with me, it's like, cool. We just disagree, man. That's awesome. I'm not going to waste any energy at all trying to change someone's mind. I'm not going to. Refuse to, in fact. It's free will, man. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Who's to say I'm right? Why would I argue a point? You know, that's stupid. Unless it's something I literally can prove. No. JD Vance posted this, and I know you parents out there, you understand this way better. My sister was telling me about this. Sister and my brother-in-law, and then they just like, they just started going crazy about this. And I'm like, really? What the hell is this 6-7 thing? You guys probably know more about it than I do. I don't. I've a little bit understand. Very basic. Again, not something I necessarily want to understand more. I don't have kids, thank God. Thank God. Seriously, guys, you are so lucky that I didn't make kids, at least on purpose. Yesterday at church, the Bible reading started on page 66 to 67 of the Missal. And my 5-year-old went absolutely nuts, repeating 6-7 like 10 times. And now I think we need to make this narrow exception to the First Amendment and ban these numbers forever. Now I'm going to guess 6-7, 7-6, 76ers, likely is an occult number, and maybe one that we need to try to take back. One maybe is one of the last ones they have left, one that's been hidden for a long time. Again, I don't know that. It's something I will dig into at some point when I feel called to. At this point, I know there's some of you guys out there that are covering this topic and covering it well, to my understanding, so I'll let you guys have at it. Western colleges help build China's digital dragnet with taxpayer funds, a study warns. This is bothersome. They're using taxpayer funds. So it was MIT, of course, which is, I think, Boston, right? Is that in Massachusetts, whatever? Where is MIT? Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Hello. Not a very bright man, but I am related to Walls. Oxford and McGill as well. So 3 different countries, Canada being one of them, England the other. And they literally were getting taxpayer funds and building tracking and surveillance technology that China was using. Now, what this does come down to is this was the deep state using taxpayer funds to get deep state tools that they could use on United Kingdom, Canada, and U.S. We know United Kingdom and Canada heavily are doing it. We also know U.S. is doing it, but I think we have slightly different people at the controls right now, I guess, thank God. But needless to say, this technology was being tested in China and brought back here. This is the part of the story they're leaving out. They just make it sound like these schools were just willy-nilly working with China, making technology that they were using to hold down their people. They leave out the follow-up, which is, no, we're actually getting this technology for ourselves. Hello? That's what it's about, is learning how to properly hold down a society. China's got 1 point however many billion. No one really knows for sure. And they're holding them down Pretty good. I mean, I've talked about it. You just don't talk about stuff, you know? You're kind of allowed to. If you're a small person, you can kind of get away with sort of saying stuff. They're not going to necessarily come kick your door down if you're just like some dude that's got like 4 Facebook followers, right? But if you're actually someone that's got thousands of Facebook followers or whatever, they will, they'll kick down your door. Furious Egypt and Iran. They protest against World Cup soccer LGBT pride match that's happening in Seattle. Both of these countries are Muslim countries, and they're very much against homosexuality. Not okay. So it is funny how, all these people like are fighting for the Palestinians and all this stuff. Palestinians would literally throw you off a roof if they found out you were gay. Not that that's these two countries, but same situation applies. It is very, very funny, in fact. So they're protesting. This might be the thing that Trump is hoping that countries will do so he can pull matches out of certain cities. And the reason they're complaining is because this game apparently is going to happen, and at the same time, Seattle was going to make it Pride weekend while this Pride game was happening, while there's 2 Muslim countries that absolutely hate that kind of stuff. That Ahmed, the dead terrorist, that kind of stuff starts to come out, at those points. Oops. So yeah, that's not very good at all. I want to remind you guys of just great product. It's called Feel Great is the overall company name, and they've actually got a lot of great products. I still haven't opened that box. I bought literally $200 worth of stuff. I haven't opened the box yet. I am using the Unimate. I am loving the Unimate, or as I call it. They say it's Unimate, but I think Unimate, since it's got yerba mate in it, or yerba mate, or whatever that cactusy thing is, why would we call this mate when that's mate? It doesn't make sense. They've got to come together, a mate and a mate. Not a mate and a mate. What's that? Nobody knows. Nobody knows, folks. But this is actually helping with people's cravings, helping with their appetite. I've got a second follow-up with someone now that's telling me they're 7 pounds down, and they've been on it for like a week. The balance is helping with appetite suppressant. This is actually awesome. It's got like some fiber. It's got some other ingredients. It's got some science, as they call it. I'm going to play a video here in a second. But it's got science in it that helps you feel full, that helps you essentially be able to go longer without snacking. A lot of us, that's where we get ourselves. Now, what this all comes down to is insulin resistance. This is the thing. They're figuring about 95% of us, 90-some% of us, 94% of us, whatever's around there, are insulin resistant. And this is really one from some of the chemicals we ate that pretend to be sugars but aren't. That creates some weirdness in the body. We've got a lot of fake sugars and stuff like that that don't really properly process. But we've also got this problem where through our snacking and through the different eatings, the heavy carbs, the heavily processed carbs, we've created this weird spiking in our insulin. And our bodies spike it and then turns it off and then spikes it and turns it off, spikes it and turns it off. And it starts to get tired of that. It gets resistant to your carbs. And it says, nah, I'm not going to pump out as much insulin. This is stupid. You're doing this all the time. You're not supposed to. And in that, you become insulin resistant. Now, what happens when insulin doesn't come out, you can't properly digest carbohydrates. So your body stores them as fat way easier than normal. And this is how that cycle of diabetes, weight control, and all of those things start to compound. And then what do? They put you on drugs. They put you on statins. They put you on drugs for your diabetes. They get you putting stuff in your body and then constantly monitoring yourself. Am I okay? Which, by the way, Nana's been talking about how much better her sugar levels are. I shared her information. This isn't changing people's lives. They're not jumping off meds. You stay on your meds. Stay on your meds. If you're monitoring your blood sugars, you're going to be surprised how much easier it is to maintain your levels and still have energy, still feel good, actually start losing weight, and everything's staying in the ranges they're supposed to. In fact, you're where the doctors are saying you should be, to where if you can keep it there for 3 months, 6 months, he's actually going to have to tell you, I don't know what you've done, but you're not diabetic anymore. Many people are seeing this. This insulin resistance is the key. Getting your body to be able to process insulin properly, or to process carbohydrates properly, and to properly utilize its insulin, and it starts to get that back. And when you do, you start to see the results. And this is because you've also gotten your diet in order. But there's no crazy diets. You don't have to eat weird stuff. You literally just have a cup of water with this stuff mixed in, which, by the way, the Unamate, the lemon, to me it tastes like iced tea with lemon, and it's delicious. It's delicious. I like it. I have not tried the balance yet. I really need to, too. Part of it's just because I'm afraid I'll not eat. I'm not sure how good it is. I'm going to do it in the morning one of these days. That's what I'm going to do. And then I can, if I manage to not eat all day, it won't be the end of the world. But if I do it at night and then don't eat, I'm like, damn, I'm going to lose a bunch of weight. I don't want to do that. I'm already kind of like on the low side right now. Good problems to have. This gets your body back to where it should be. You're going to be amazed. You're going to go to otfspecial.com. otfspecial.com. It's not expensive. You literally just mix it in with water. It's delicious, and it makes a huge difference. If you're somebody that's heavily trying to lose weight, balance, you want to focus 2 boxes of that, 1 box of the Unamate. If you're someone kind of that's not necessarily overweight a lot or don't necessarily have heavy diabetes, maybe you can get 2 of the Unamates and 1 of the balance. And then you just kind of use the balance, and it helps fill you up. They're going to explain it here in a second, but it helps fill you up, and it gives you these proper chemicals so you properly digest your foods. It's incredible how it's working. And again, a lot of people are loving this stuff. I want you to check it out. This is, of course, the Feel Great Company, a.k.a. Unamate, or Unamate and Balance. It's good stuff, man. Check it out.
If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away, listen up. There's a simple daily protocol they don't want you to know about that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health. Up to 88% of Americans potentially suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great protocol is a simple 2-step daily system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. Step 1, Unamate, a powerful yerba mate extract clinically shown to boost mood, increase mental clarity, and support fat burning. Step 2, a patented fiber matrix called Balance. Taken before meals, it helps regulate blood sugar, curb cravings, and support healthy insulin response. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body actually understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, sugar cravings, gut health, systemic inflammation. This isn't a trend. It's a transformation. Start today to reclaim your health with the Feel Great protocol.
Stuff's awesome. You guys are going to love it. Go to otfspecial.com. That's otfspecial.com. I don't know why I took it off the screen, but yeah, there it is. otfspecial.com. That's going to get you all hooked up, and you will be stoked that you did. That's for sure. All right, let's get back into the good stuff here. We got some bad people that are running around. We're going to probably be featuring stuff like this for a while, is going to be my guess, because, my God, like Chicago, Illinois in general is a mess. Found out today, by the way, guys. The announcement's coming tomorrow. And there's a rumor of somebody that was going to run for governor in Minnesota. You guys maybe remember who that might be. I got confirmation. That's all I'm going to say. I didn't say it, so it's okay. But it'll be coming out tomorrow, is my understanding. Tomorrow, Thursday, depending on when you're watching this video. Judge blocks Trump's control, the deployment of California National Guard to Los Angeles. Gavin Newsom was trying to get it where it was a permanent block forever. And the judge is like, no. This time, no. Right now, I don't see any reason to believe that there's any federal officers at risk. So he's saying they've got to go back to California. But no, you can't just have a blind blanket. If there's another time where he's using them, you can file another lawsuit, essentially is what the judge said, which is pretty cool. So it is what it is. Uh-oh. This is not... wow. I'm sure I meant to put something there. Oh, well. Trump administration warns Chicago to comply on safety or lose federal funds after brutal train attacks. So, again, just this horrific stuff that's been going on. People have been busted multiple times, too. This guy that caught the person on fire in Chicago back in November, he had more than 60 cases dating back to 1993. Multiple violent offenses. The dude has been in trouble constantly, and they keep putting him back out on the streets. This kind of stuff can't happen. We talked about yesterday how Pritzker is going to be he's already put 1,700 people back on the streets, but there was a question, there's about 4,000 more. He's like, what are you going to do, put them back on the streets as well? We'll find out. But Pritzker's now also enacting a law to expand protections for illegal immigrants in Illinois. People not here legally. People in often cases are here illegally and committing crimes. These are people that are getting busted, and he's giving them additional rights. Anybody that thinks that's okay, that's crazy. Now, I get Democrats are like, I have to go with my party. I don't agree with everything. Oh, my God. This is what's going to be killing them. That's driving them insane because they are realizing there's a bunch of stuff that's just asinine, and it keeps coming like it's nonstop. Partially why I think it's huge that Trump was back out on the streets, if you will. Agitators pelt ICE agents during a Chicago area suspected Trinidad arrest. Dude literally tried to ram him with a car. They ended up running into a tree, apparently. And they eventually get him arrested once he ran inside to a house that wasn't his. Had a hostage. Didn't necessarily, I don't think, was threatening them. Maybe, probably did. And was basically standing up on the balcony and ended up negotiating his surrender after a while. But these guys were getting pelted by glass and rocks. All sorts of stuff. It's pretty messed up what's happening. And again, this is what they're doing in Illinois. They're literally protecting criminals. Not even just people that are illegal. Because look, here's a lot. I'll tell you the truth. Like I said, my housekeeper. You piss some people off, whatever. I don't care. It's out here. It's almost hard to find people that are necessarily always legal. And nor do I check. I didn't check. She was recommended by a friend of mine that worked at Ralph's that I'm sure is legal. So I didn't ask. I didn't care. Found out later. Whatever. She's great. Does a great job. All said, if she doesn't break any other laws, and I've told her this, I said, if you don't break any other laws, they probably will never find you, will never care. But people that come here, and I told her this to her face, people that come here illegally, you broke the law coming here, and then break additional laws, yeah, you got to go. And she's like, yeah, that makes, she agreed. So things have gotten calmer with her. Not that she was worried about me, but her family, they just bought a house. And I get it. Some of you guys are going to get pissed at me again. It's fine. I don't care. I really don't. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I don't agree with you, but I get where you're coming from. A lot of people live in a black and white world. I just don't think that's how things work, especially depending on where you live. This is pretty damn funny. Thoughts on Jasmine Crockett running for Senate? I'll try to clean this up post-production. You really can't hear, at least I can't when I hear the question. But his response is freaking awesome. So like I said, I'll do my best to clean up her question, so hopefully you can hear it better. Needless to say, here's my best shot at it.
Yeah.
Can I get your thoughts on Jasmine Crockett's run for Senate? What does it say about the state of the Democratic Party? And do you feel worried about her chances of winning at all?
I'm absolutely delighted that Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate in Texas. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened to the Republican Party in a long, long time. She is the face of the Democratic Party, she and Mamdani. Good luck with that. I want her to have the largest, loudest microphone that she can every single day. And we look forward to having that election down there. We are going to elect another Republican senator in Texas. Texas is a red state. The people of Texas are common sense Americans, and what Jasmine is trying to sell will not be purchased by the folks of Texas. That is my prediction. Yes. Thank you. Thanks so much.
And people are saying he's doing horrible. I think Nancy Mace is pissed at him. Again, I like Speaker Johnson. He has not done one thing yet. Again, I think Congress is a giant cluster F. I think there's literally, so this is where I'm coming from at it, all right? So before you get pissed at me. I literally think there's like 5 people in Congress. I'm talking both the Senate and the House. 5 that are worth a shit. He's on that list. Definitely Jim Jordan, right? Comer. Feel like there's another one in the House, drawing a blank on who it is. Then I would say in the Senate, Ron Johnson probably only. A couple maybe, but no, mostly no. Ted Cruz, I want to, but I'm pretty sure he's tarnished in some weird way. Lindsey Graham, absolutely not. Fuck no. Rand Paul? Oh my God, what's up with Kentucky? So literally 5 people, maybe 6, 7. But when you think there's 535 or whatever the hell the number is, please. So, again, it's the subversion. They came into all of our camps. All of them. It's a big part of why I've kept people out of my general circle. The few people I've let in, it didn't go well. And for the most part, there's so much BS going on. I don't want to be a part of it because I don't want to have to, like, I have a hard time when someone says something crazy on my show. I have to call it out. I've done it before in the past with people I love and I consider friends still. Don't know, I hope. But you're saying something kind of crazy, and I'm going to question you on it. Like, I'm on this show with you, too, and there's no damn way anybody's going to be like, you just sucked up to him. Now, I will say Mike Lindell, I'd never pushed him, but I also don't think there's any scandals to talk about. We did talk about one of them. So I think I've even done a good job in that regards, but whatever. I think now's the time to, like, really pay attention because we've got a lot of people. And it's odd because in most cases I'm finding, and I'm not trying to smear the big ones like I'm trying to help myself. It's not going to work that way. And I know that. So my expectation is not that. It's just, like, I feel like the bigger the channels are, the more likely they are bought and paid for in some way or influenced with specific people. That's very common, which is going to get me when I get into the discuss section. Someone's name's going to come up who's big in our world. And I am actually starting to realize I don't know, at least recently, 2 major strikes. And we'll see. Maybe I'm the wrong one. Happy to admit it. Oh, sorry, we need to do that Mom Donnie story. Mom Donnie defends choice of a convicted armed robber for New York City public safety role. Literally. No, you heard that right. Literally, the public safety role is going to be a convicted armed robber. Mom Donnie, this is the Democrats for you, right? Kristi Noem claims Mondani could be violating Constitution with advice to migrants. Others have done that as well. So we've heard this. I think this is kind of more bluster than actual anything. Comer warns alleged fraud seen in Minnesota is likely more widespread than initially believed. He says, I think we're going to find in Minnesota is probably happening many other states, Comer said in Just the News. Minnesota could be and hopefully is the worst offender, but there are other blue states run by blue Democrat governors who refuse to turn over any data, not only to Congress, but to the cabinet secretaries like Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, who are trying to get a handle on programs like SNAP. So this is all about politics. The Democrats that champion many of these social programs, they don't care if there's massive amounts of waste, fraud, or abuse, as long as their voting base is happy. That's the difference between most Republicans and most Democrats in Congress. Republicans care about our tax dollars and sincerely want to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse and mismanagement. Democrats don't care. As long as their base is happy, as long as they can continue to take credit for all types of welfare programs, they want to continue to do this. Craziness. White House posted this. If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. President Donald Trump. Here is Trump talking about Ilhan Omar during his Pennsylvania rally. Pretty cool, and just great to have him back out on the street, back out in front of people, and obviously in a controlled environment. I don't know if there's an election coming up in Pennsylvania or if he's just going out there because I don't know. He has a reason for everything he does. And maybe this is the beginning of the campaigning cycle for next year. Hopefully that is not nearly as crazy since the guy is literally running our country and trying to stop wars and everything else. But also, here's Trump talking about Turban Head.
Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's for Minnesota, you know. That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, there's nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing, they have no police. They police themselves, they kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country, and she's always complaining about, the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that? She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
Love this dude here. He reminds me of my one of my good friends. I've told you guys about my little group of guy friends where I get together. He looks just like one of them. It's pretty damn funny. Pretty damn funny. All said. None of those guys watch my show. I think one of them occasionally does. He usually, every once in a while, he asks very astute questions. I'm like, he's pretending he doesn't know any of this shit, but he knows some of this stuff. He's a smart man. Somali migration is going to be marked as the greatest refugee fraud crisis in modern times, is what they're basically starting to spin now, and we're certainly starting to see that, unquestionably. And this really comes down to this, quote, P3 refugee pipeline. It was created by the Refugee Act of 1980 that allows refugees to apply for their spouses, unmarried children, and parents to also receive refugee status in the U.S. from 2003 through 2008. Africans, including Somalis, represented more than 95% of the refugees who arrived in the U.S. through the P3 program. In March 2008, after some 36,000 mostly Africans had entered the U.S. as P3 refugees, the majority of whom resettled in Minnesota, the program was halted by then-President George W. Bush after the State Department unveiled mass fraud. State Department published a report in November 2008 detailing how the agency had started requiring P3 refugees from Somalia, Ethiopia, and Liberia to take DNA tests to prove they were blood relatives to the U.S.-bound refugees sponsoring them for such status. The DNA tests ultimately revealed that the State Department was able to confirm all claimed biological relationships in fewer than 20% of the cases. All said, we've got something that they've known to be problematic since 2008, and well, probably prior to that, obviously, for them to finally get rid of it. Yet, here we are. Another great example, a man from Somalia named, Abdikerm Abdelahi Idil. I'm sure that was right. Anyway, there's a story about him. He'll hopefully say his name better than I did.
Okay, I just want to get this all out while it's still fresh in my head.
That's me, investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen with 5 Eyewitness News. I recently checked on this house in Burnsville, Minnesota, looking for info about a man named Abdikerm Idle.
Do you know where he is?
He fled the country in 2022, right before being indicted for fraud, along with his boss and 45 others linked to Feeding Our Future. Investigators say stolen taxpayer money paid for this house, and the feds filed paperwork to take it through forfeiture.
Do you know if the government is trying to take this house?
That's the voice of his ex-wife, according to a young woman who also spoke to me through the door.
Ex-husband. She says a couple years ago the government came, and she says they worked it all out. The question in all of this is, Abdikerm Idle is still listed as the owner of this house here, and obviously neighbors around here have questions about what's going on with the efforts to recover the proceeds of all the fraud. So we'll keep asking questions.
Yeah, I'll work it out. That's for sure. Great Dave Matthews Band song, by the way, which reminds me of the music show this weekend, or Friday. The start of the weekend. It's going to be a different show. I'm excited about it just because of the level of effort I went through to find enough music to fill an hour. I even cheated a little, added 2 Steely Dan songs. But that said, I kind of made a comment about Phish, Phish, the band. And I was like, I'd known people that were Phish fans. I'd never, ever listened to a song, like one song, not once. And so I was like, I must be ignorant, probably ignorant, So I told everybody on the show that I'd go ahead and look into it. Well, come to find out, I found 2 songs. One of them I really like. One of them is pretty good. And then I found like 4 different varying versions of it. The one I got has a pretty trippy ending. So anyway, it's the last song if you're drinking pretty good or whatever during the show, you're going to love that last song. It definitely gets psychedelic towards the end there. But I was like, well, who's similar to them? I did some Dave Matthews. I ended up doing Grateful Dead because I always thought they were similar. I even said that. And I still kind of sort of stand by that. They're different, but they're similar. They've got this weird cult following. That's why I added Dave Matthews Band, just very cult followish kind of band. And then I grabbed a couple Steely Dan songs just to make it a little longer. And they're just great musically. And that's what I felt like with all four of the bands. Just incredible musicianship. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Got some pretty good live stuff in there. It's pretty damn good. We got a whistleblower alleging fraud of millions of dollars stolen and overbilling of Medicaid. I almost needed a small break in the middle of all of the Minnesota fraud with Somalis. It's fantastic.
Saw a lot of fraud on the back end with, the billing claims that were just not accurate, not adding up, times not adding up. Unsure that staff actually, performed the job functions in the home of the clients. I made a connection from Gateway to the Minnesota people by, them telling me about their family they had in Minnesota. The executives of Gateway, the Somalian executives, had family that they used to visit in Minnesota. Their family used to visit them from Minnesota. And they used to talk about the agencies they ran out there. It was a similar kind of setup, So there was a connection there between all of them.
Christopher, how long had this been going on? You were at Gateway for quite some time. How long do you think this has been going on, this fraud?
I was there from 2018 to recently 2025, and I hadn't realized about the audit that had been completed in 2018. So before I even got there, they were complicit in some of this stuff. And that was corroborated by the audits that were reported in the Steve Robinson article from the Main Wire. That's what really made me come forward, because I had been reaching out, internally, blowing the whistle since 2024, early 2024, and, I wasn't getting anywhere. So when I saw his reporting in March of 2025, and Gateway was talking about it internally, how it was just some racist reporter, reporting this stuff about them, I just made the connection, and I hadn't known about him or the Main Wire or any of this stuff. So I had my own intuition that led me to find what I found.
And how much? What do you think? What do you think's the extent of the fraud?
Oh, man, it could be in the millions. The audit revealed almost $1 million back in 2018 in overbilling, and our programs had grown significantly since then. One of the programs I worked in was an entirely new program, so who knows? Like, it could be in the millions all those years. 7 years I was there, and I didn't see a lot of stuff at first, but during the pandemic, especially the last few years, I've been working remote from Florida, and so I didn't see any of the people, I didn't see any of the staffs in person, none of that stuff. I just saw the massive amount of turnover, new people coming in, a lot of migrant community getting jobs, a lot of new migrant clients, stuff like that. And like a lot of the stuff I just couldn't verify. There was no way for me to verify that what I was billing out was real. Accurate at all.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're learning about what happened in Minnesota. I think everyone in Maine should be on the lookout as well. We appreciate you blowing the whistle and sharing the information with us here today. It's all alleged at this point, but this is something that everybody in Minnesota should be asking questions about. Rather, everyone in Maine, in addition to Minnesota, should be asking questions about. Christopher Bernardini, thank you so much.
Yeah, I love that. I did break it in the perfect place. That's funny. That was kind of accidental, but yeah, Maine. Maine's got the same problem with the Somalians once again, which is interesting. So that must be the other place they went. It's like the Armenians in Glendale, like they just took over an area. As the federal investigation expands, Minnesota Governor Walz tells Seattle crowd he'll welcome more Somalis. Of course he would. That's his bread and butter. He's probably getting kickbacks or something. I don't know what's going on there. He's obviously a communist too, though. Anyway, needless to say, we've got a incredible sight. I guess ICE is conducting more armed house raids in Minneapolis. This was actually kind of interesting in that they were trying to save somebody and in turn ended up getting a whole bunch of extra people arrested.
He assaulted the police officer, even attempted to choke him and steal his weapon. Now, he was picked up, he was arrested, but then released before ICE could file a detainer. So yesterday, they had to put together a big special response team and go into the north side of Minneapolis to get him.
If there was no sanctuary policies in a city like Minneapolis and St. Paul, we'd be able to get him at the jail. But because they have those policies, we have to go look for him at their house. And when we go to their house, we're going to arrest anybody that's illegal in that house.
And that's what they did. 2 more guys ICE says are in the U.S. illegally were found in that house. They were swept up in the raid. People in the neighborhood started waking up and blowing whistles. That drew a small crowd of protesters. And one of the protesters put her hands on the ICE agent, a little bit of a shove, if you will, trying to get through the perimeter. That was enough for her to be zip-tied and taken into federal custody. All of it instead of handing this individual over in the jail.
And again, that one chick at the end here, they triple cuffed her or whatever it is when you have the extra cuff in there. And I'm not like an expert, but I've been watching a bunch of these kinds of shows lately. When they do that, like they're being really nice to you. They're cuffing you because they kind of have to because you're under arrest. She was allowed to have her jacket, and they even put her hat back on for her. So they're being way nice. Needless to say, that's the thing. If you're going to make this hard, then while we're there, we're going to arrest everybody. Or if you've got someone in your family and you're here illegally as a family and they've done really bad stuff, it might behoove you to give them up. And I'm not saying you as the family can choose to do that, but you as an immigrant community could certainly make more noise about how maybe you don't like the sanctuary policies. Because right now, sanctuary policies are not helping immigrants at all. In fact, the opposite. And that will continue. This is what you call a catch-22. Department of Justice rule restores equal protection for all in civil rights enforcement. They eliminated this disparate impact regulation. They rolled it back. And this is very interesting. As a liability priority of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which gave an advantage to the people statistically likely to experience discrimination, such as non-whites, the LGBT, and non-Christians. This means discrimination in a federal legal context must be proven by intent and conduct, making it harder to merely accuse businesses or white men of discriminating for maintaining reasonable standards. They got rid of something that people have been holding on to forever. That's racist if you ask me to do that. Now it's not. Now it's like, I need you to do your job properly. I don't care if you live in this colored people time world thing. That's fine, but here we have a clock. You have it on your phone. I've verified. You showed it to me. Your clock works just like mine. I don't know what you call it, but, I'm just saying you need to be here when it says 8. That's all. There you go. Have a good day. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All right, discussed. I hope you guys don't hate me, okay? Just give me love if you can, but I'll put a shield around myself. Needless to say. All right, first and foremost, there was a story that was put out yesterday that talked about how some F-18s were flying super slow speeds, 205 knots to be specific, off the coast in the Bay of Venezuela. That the second this individual found out about it, they immediately went to one of the largest channels in our world. And I don't necessarily want to disparage Nino, but that's the channel he first went to. Great big giant channel. And this was Juan. So Juan finds out there's some sort of operation happening through whatever channels he has, and immediately talks about it. Immediately. It's not like he waited 24 hours. And what's weird, and again, maybe it'll pop up later, but I'm curious if it'll be recycling of Juan's story, but I didn't see anything pop up. There's a lot of places where I typically would see something like that pop up if there was any evidence that there was low-flying F-18s, and he was even saying they were there for attention. Now, they might have been. I'm not saying, it just didn't pop up. Doesn't mean anything. Kind of does, but not 100% no. So that was disturbing. Now, there's also this individual, and this story's coming up here next, where he was making accusatory remarks against people in Trump's administration, the same individual, Juan. And he said it there, and then I heard his JACO interview, too, and he's basically saying the same thing. That's kind of what's funny about Juan, is he hops on everybody's channels for like a week and says the same shit, and plugs his stuff. And no, again, I don't blame him. He's doing what he's doing. But he's throwing people in Trump's administration under the bus to these large audiences based off of information from somebody who's an admitted CIA individual. Didn't say he's not CIA. He might claim he is, whatever. But that's the point of this next post, in my mind, is the individual that he's referencing data from is another individual that I'm almost 100% sure is working against us. Patrick Byrne just made 4 explosive assertions, says Rasmussen reports. 4 explosive assertions. Number 1, he is a CIA operative, has a confirmed letter. 2, Trump advocate Rick Grinnell is compromised. I believe that Juan O'Savin was telling us that he somehow commandeered a young man, underage boy, which is very much what the deep state would try to do. I believe if this would have happened at all, Rick would already be under the bus. Much like Trump. When he was trying to get involved in stuff, they would have gotten rid of Rick. If this had happened years past, they would have brought it up when Rick was involved in Trump's first administration. So now all of a sudden, what? We've got information that nobody had prior? That's crazy. Sorry, I think so. Now we're finding out CIA Director John Ratcliffe is compromised. And DOJ's Todd Blanche is suppressing evidence. This is another thing that Juan was pushing, but this was a month back or so. Putting a lot of seeding all this doubt. And that's what I found interesting. This man's wealthy as fuck. Claims to be tight with Trump, claims to be down involved in stuff. Maybe he is. But at the same time, kind of running his mouth. Now, I think he's doing this intentionally. And you're going to be like, huh? And I'm going to say there's misinformation from the White Hats for sure. Because otherwise, we'd be talking about what's happening. So Juan went immediately to the press, starts talking about this operation that's happening, freaks out Venezuela because they probably heard about it, and that was probably, they're like, what? I don't see any, there's nothing on the radar. Are they jamming us? And maybe it's Juan just flexing his muscle because of his reach. But it's not true. And that's, personally, that's where I have a hard time, right? Because I'm trying to figure out what the hell is actually going on. And we got all these people that we're supposed to trust that are lying to us intentionally or unintentionally or whatever. Doesn't help, does it? I don't think. Now, again, can they tell us the truth? No. I totally get that. Totally get that. And in fact, I think it's one of my problems because I think I am close to a lot of this stuff. Not 100%, but I think I do pretty good. And you can't have people like that are popular because then people would know what's up. Whatever the case is. And I talk too much. I don't want to play his video below. I don't really care. I've never been a real big Patrick Byrne fan, just for these obvious reasons. But here's one that's bugging the crap out of me. And I love the fact that she actually calls it out. This is Erica Kirk responding to all the people that have said X, Y, and Z about the assassination. This is one thing I want people to understand. It's kind of like I think FBI Kash Patel feels this way, big time. Bongino, of course, too, and Proxy. And Erica. Because conspiracy people like us, we crazy. We're just crazy in our way, right? And so we're going to just tear everything apart. But the way it's gotten spin that she's either behind it or people within his inner circle are behind it, literally trying to fracture or attempting or accomplishing a fracturing of Turning Point. So they shoot and assassinate the dude that's in charge of Turning Point movement, makes it up. And then they start destroying what's left. And then A lot of us talk about how, well, there's this and they had a projector and da-ba-ba. And they did immediately destroy the crime zone, by the way. So, again, I go back to the Utah police right there. Right there. Utah police. Right there. That'd be the easier way to control it. Have an assassination, MK Ultra style, whatever they call it now. Have the Utah police come in and clean it up. Fuck everything up right there. Perfect. And then spin us with fake stories. It's worked 100% of the time. Like Erica. She lost her husband. Her kids lost their dad. You don't think she's looking into every angle? And she brings it up. Are you in the room when we're having these conversations? No. Same thing with Trump and what he's doing in this inner circle. Is Juan O'Savin in his inner circle? Is Pat Byrne in Trump's inner circle? Notice how Pompeo's not even in his inner circle anymore. Right? Yeah. Probably beat this dead horse enough. But here's Erica Kirk.
We have a trial coming up. Unfortunately, that trial is in a long time. What I want to be mindful of for people is that this was a murder. This is not something that, what I don't have happen is for this to taint the jury pool. I don't. I want my husband, I want justice for my husband more than any other person on the internet. Any other person in this world. That was my husband and the father to my kids. We will make sure, and we have been, turning over every single stone, going down every single lead. So when these people say, oh, they haven't talked about this or done that, how do you know? You're not in those meetings with the attorneys and the prosecutors. You have no idea. And why would we share that information with the internet to what? Then give the defense more stuff that's not true? Like, it's just, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the truth is the truth.
Right. Why would she share that? And that's the thing I see all the time. People that are pushing fake stories. And I'm like, well, I could bring this up and talk about how this is fake. And I'm like, but that's why. You're going to literally stop at everything and say, nah, that's not real. That's not real. That's not real. You're never going to go anywhere, Dan. Nah, I can't. I mean, I cover a few of them. Every once in a while, you're like, don't touch that thing. That'll sting the shit out of you or something. Democrats flipped Miami. They did. They took it. There you go, Floridians. You are our best hope for non-cancerous actions and votes we can trust. You've got DeSantis and everything. You've got, of course, Pam Bondi as your initial attorney general or attorneys general or whatever the frick one is for the state. Now you got somebody that's really good still. You just gave up Miami. Again, my point is the elections. Your elections are likely compromised. I don't know what your voter rolls are. You explain to me Miami. I know there's a lot of Cuban people, but why would Cuban people? They're so heavily conservative. So that makes no sense. I don't know. You guys tell me. I know I got some friends out there. I don't know if I got any friends in Miami. See, this is what they do in Miami. They take their alligator for a walk. It must have been Tuesday. I think that's the day they do that. Whatever the hell. Crazy-ass place. They say a lot of people there do crack. I don't know if that's true. Certainly not something you want to leave lying around for a friggin' alligator to find. That's for damn sure. All said. We got just a reminder. This was already happened, I believe. I think this was one of their meetings they had back in August. But it's a great clip, and it should remind all of us where we're heading. And soon. I don't know when exactly. Elections are coming. There's going to be court cases. There's a lot that's going to happen with this. So, again, I trust Trump and what he's doing. I trust the administration Trump's put around him. I think if Trump had somebody bad around him, that person would be gone. I have faith in Trump, and I'm going to continue to do that because there's nobody else at all that's offering anything. All these people trying to attack everybody have nothing to offer. Have you noticed that? All they try to do is destroy, pull apart, pull the sticks out, be a sucky Jenga player. It's like, why'd you even grab that one? It's like you don't even care. Oh, that said, Here's Tulsi Gabbard. She cares.
And you've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
Great job. Thank you. We look forward to hearing it. The public looks forward. Thank you very much.
Like super look forward to. I don't know if you can hyper that up a little bit there, Mr. Trump, sir. My goodness. Neither request is legally appropriate, we're finding out. DOJ, they're raging against Comey's friend for providing cover against new indictments while pretending his demands are insincere. The U.S. Justice Department, through Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and Prosecutor Lindsay Halligan, filed a 20-page opposition Tuesday challenging a temporary restraining order issued by senior U.S. District Judge Colleen Kohler-Codley. Good God. The filing accuses the judge of improperly blocking a potential new indictment against former FBI Director James Comey by restricting access to evidence seized from his associate Daniel Richman in 2017. DOJ officials argue Richman's motion seeks not merely the return of his property containing privileged client data, judicial communications, family medical files, and financial records, but the destruction of DOJ-held copies to shield Comey from future obstruction and false statement charges. They describe the request as a disguised effort to suppress evidence and enjoin an ongoing investigation in another district, timed suspiciously just a week after Comey's initial case dismissal. The government demands denial of Richmond's motion, dissolution of the TRO, and dismissal of any Fourth Amendment violation claims, insisting no new warrant was required from the 2025 review of dormant files from the closed Arctic Haze probe. Dadgum, I say. They were trying to do some sneaky stuff, which is pretty ridiculous. But if it would have been successful, it would have screwed a lot of stuff up because they literally would have destroyed evidence. They were trying to get a judge to force them to destroy evidence of other cases. That judge would probably do it too. I don't care if it's involved in another case, doesn't matter. You must destroy it because of this case. It doesn't exist anywhere now. Senate GOP unites behind healthcare proposal as chamber prepares to vote Thursday on ACA subsidies. There's supposedly two different things that are they're pushing through bills, I guess, or whatever. There's no expectation that either of them will pass. Democrats obviously want a 3-year extension for the subsidies, and I think the regular Senate's been trying to work on coming up with a fix, getting rid of all the nonsense, giving the money straight to the people. I think they're trying to work on doing it. They were calling out the fact that the government closed down, really screwed that up. Remember, I don't know if it's end of January is my guess. I think, basically February 1st, the government's probably going to shut down again. Just going to say. So get ready. Things are going to get crazier. The program desperately needs to be reformed, Thune said. The Democrats have decided we're not going to do anything to reform it, and so we'll see where the votes are on Thursday. But we will have an alternative that we will put up that reflects the views of the Republicans here in the United States Senate about how to make health insurance more affordable in this country, how to ensure that it's not the insurance companies that are getting enriched, that it is actually benefiting the patient. Now, there will be Republicans that are getting money from the insurance companies who will try to sneak in some weird, dirty, nasty shit because I don't trust the Senate at all. There's one senator I think I trust. Thune, maybe. Thune, I don't distrust you yet. You've come a long ways, I feel. But, and again, I think we've got Thune, maybe, and one other guy out of 100 people. So there's 98 other fucktards that we can't trust at all. There's no way to get anything done. All these people, dude, it's Trump's fault. Fuck you. No, it's not. Our fucking Congress is a mess right now. Yeah, there's enough R's and D's and bullshit. It's a mess. None of that shit matters, please. We've seen it in action. I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine up your hoo-ha, unless you let me. I'm willing to try. GOP senator expects Obamacare subsidies to expire. Some people's premiums are going to go up. Some people's premiums. They're making a big deal out of this. But it's really... bunch of people on there are dead. Bunch of people on there are double dipping. Bunch of people are, so there's a bunch of fraud in there. I think they were saying close to half of these people that they've been claiming aren't even real people. So this is a bunch of money that's not going to continue to go to the insurance companies that they were getting, that they're not going to get anymore. They're going to get an immediate, huge hit. In fact, if you have any money in insurance companies right now, get it out quick. It's probably already too late, by the way. But the second this thing actually happens, insurance companies' numbers are going to tank. Their first quarter numbers will tank. They'll be down a bunch. I bet we'll actually see that a huge amount of their profit was tied to this stuff. You watch. It's going to be fun. The show is barely started, folks. It's a great show, though. Trump struck with the bathroom door on Air Force One. It was kind of funny. And he was saying some kind of funny stuff, too. But Trump was being Trump, and someone was trying to get out of the door. Now, what's really funny, I just want to call this out, and you'll notice it. It's not like I'm going to tell you something that you're like, I wouldn't have noticed that had you not said something, Dan. It's paying attention to the obvious. But it's funny is the individual that's trying to get out and realizes, and Trump's like, hey, I'm in, it's me, hey, and then you see him move the door, like they're not hitting him anymore. Like, why would you keep doing that? If you think he's standing in front of the door, you're going to like, is he still in front of the door? But then I think it dawned on them. They're like, oh, fuck, there's cameras showing. He's doing questions. One, they're going to know that I was in the bathroom when I was supposed to be taking questions. Two, they're going to see me coming out of the bathroom. Oh, brilliant. Needless to say, it's kind of funny. Check it out.
We're going to be looking at a couple of different people, but I have a pretty good idea who I want. You're going to have to take it easy with that thing. It's a government plane, but I like to take care of it. Hello. Somebody's in there. Come on out.
Mr. President, Senator's Cassidy and Franco have introduced a bill to create health savings accounts for states of Obamacare companies.
That's good.
Do you support that?
Well, I like the concept. I don't want to give the insurance companies any money. They've been ripping off the public for years. Obamacare is a scam to make the insurance companies rich, and they have made, you look, $1,400 to $1,700 increase, 100% increase over the last number of years. There's really few things that have gone up like insurance companies. They're getting numbers and money like nobody's ever seen before.
Now, what we need to do is we need to see who all is holding money in the insurance companies, or who was. They might have gotten rid of it within the past few months. But who was holding money in the insurance companies? Who bought it right before Obamacare started? Now, of course, Pelosi, duh. But who else? Obviously, Obama. Who else was insider trading? Think of it. Wonder how many Republicans, because a lot of them are still here in office. So how many Republicans? How many Democrats? All those people need to be friggin' tarred and feathered. All of them. This corruption, they've been ripping us off forever, and these bastards have been okaying it. Good Lord, there's no chance. U.S. Army looks to be building small refineries for critical minerals. They're going to be doing it in small bases and stuff like that, so they can accomplish this and have enough of these. So the U.S. Army engineers are kicking ass like always. Trump warns of severe tariffs on Canadian fertilizer if needed. He's tired of getting priced out of stuff. That basically people are taking advantage of us, charging us insane amounts of money. And so what Trump is basically saying is like, look, we should be making fertilizer here, and we should. So he's basically saying, yeah, I'm going to put a tariff on the fertilizer and force people to start making fertilizer here. This is stupid. The Fed prepares to cut interest rates for a third time this year, is the expectation. We'll see. Should happen. It should happen. I think that's coming today, actually, so it's probably already happened. That said, I do want to let you guys know, of course, my good friends, the Gold Co. The Gold Company. The Gold Co. Gold Co. Hello. Don't need a the in front of it. Let's see where we're at. I was curious. I don't know if I should refresh. I always have a hard time with this page. So stocks are up a little bit. That's kind of cool. Like that. Gold down a little, which is fine. This means the dollar's a little bit stronger. It's only $20, so it's still at 42.15. It kind of seems like it's just been hovering there, which the dollar's been pretty steady. Silver took a little bit of a crap. It got up to 62 something, but it's still over 60, which is significant. And they are, they're definitely. It was up a bunch, this morning. It was up almost to $62 this morning, earlier about 12 a.m. Eastern time. All said. Things are happening. Get out of their system, guys. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, get out of their system. My good friends at Goldco will help you do that, tax-free, penalty-free. You move the money sideways. If they give it to you in any way, shape, or form, even precious metals, if they give them to you, that's considered a payout. You're going to get taxed. You're going to get penalized depending on your age. So, I mean, I don't recommend that. What I do recommend is getting as much of it moved sideways as possible. And you are going to protect as much wealth as you possibly can. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. You're moving it sideways. It's keeping it. It's literally physical metals, too, by the way. So you're moving it out of the 401k. You're buying precious metals. You can deal with and talk about the ratio of silver versus gold. Gold is really good at storing and protecting. Gold, you're not going to make any money on at all. You're not going to make any money on gold per se. It will protect your buying power, period. Whatever you can buy with the amount of money you put into gold right now, you will be able to buy that same amount of stuff whenever. Gold holds value. That's it. That's all it does. It's not a good investment when everything's going sweet. It's a great investment when things are crashing. Silver, on the other hand, has a multiplier that's built into it. There's easily two time, 3 time built into it. The expectation is within a couple of years, we'll probably, before the Fed is swept out, we should probably hit something close to $200 of silver. That's going to blow a lot of people's minds, but it's used in industry. It's used in a lot of places. And there's also, I've seen record of a giant order that was placed on it, and there's not enough silver to fill it. And this is going to create a problem, especially with paper contracts, because anybody that's buying it that way is going to end up getting ripped off, and that fraud's going to be exposed. When that happens, the spike will go crazy on silver. So what's cool about that is Goldco is going to give you up to 10% free silver. You're going out tax-free, penalty-free, sideways, getting as much precious metals as you can, physical metals. They put it in a trust, right? You can't touch it, but you can if you want. Have it sent to you. But you're going to get up to 10% free silver that they can send to you. That's considered money, by the way. It's income. They'll cash it as whatever it's, per dollar per ounce thing is. But you can have that 10% sent to you if you'd like. Think about that, right? You're doing all this, but you're actually going to have some physical sent to you. Again, you'll get taxed on it. Taxed, not penalized. Taxed. You're going to get an extra 10% free silver. You're going to love it. And again, if you put in your 4 data points and you literally do it and know that you can make a phone call within 20 minutes, you're actually going to get a free half-ounce collectible Ronald Reagan coin. It was minted by the Mint, so it's 0.999% pure. It is awesome. It's got a picture of Ronald Reagan on the front. It's half-ounce, which right now is worth about $30. Just in silver value. In collector's value, it's worth much more than that. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Protect your buying power. Protect your wealth. Protect yourself and your family. Get out of that system while you can. Because once the crash happens, I think there's a lot of people who are like, but the government's going to take care of us, right? To a point, but you're not going to get 100 pennies per the dollar. It'll definitely be something under that. You'll get something. Why not guarantee it? Control that wealth. Control that. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system, folks, while you can. Because, again, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Supreme Court considers striking down the campaign finance limits in a Republican-led case. This is another one that they're going to tell us in, May, the end of the year, I think is when they said. Was it May or June? Whatever the case is, right before they go into their little hibernation. They will kick out all these great things. This is one of them, striking down campaign finance. An interesting case, not worth spending too much time on. U.S. Appeals Court just upheld the Trump administration's ban on transgender service members. They canceled the stay or paused the stay or whatever while it works its way through courts. There was a secondary stay, it seems, that was attached to the judge's original order. That stay was also, or that TRO was also stayed. So it looks like they just canceled a couple things on that, which is pretty sweet. Ron Johnson talking about the lies that we've been told with COVID and the vaccines, because now they're actually looking at adult data. First off, 10 children died. Now they're looking at VAERS data. This is after it's come out and after people were taking it. And yeah, the numbers are a little disconcerting. And again, this is like probably the one senator, maybe Thune, one of possibly two. That's it for me. I don't know. You guys send me an email if I'm missing somebody, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
My committee's got now over 8 million pages of information. Just in the first tranche, by the way, what we discovered is that CDC, somebody in the federal health agencies, this interagency communication, hid the signal. They admitted there was a signal on myocarditis, and they hid it. They didn't warn the public. They didn't warn doctors. So that's just one instance of corruption and lies told by the CDC. We've got a lot of others we'll be rolling out, okay? So we held our first hearing and permanent subcommittee investigation on that hiding of the signal of myocarditis. We've heard a lot of studies, okay? As I've looked into science, it's been thoroughly corrupted. Here's data, and I'd like to enter this sheet into the record. I've been publishing this chart for, since really early 2021. When I'm on, for example, talk radio shows and they talk about this, they get deplatformed, or they were, because of all the censorship during the Biden administration. Here's the facts. The VAERS system that was touted in October of 2020, this great safety surveillance system on COVID, a few months later, when they didn't like the results, they started denigrating their own system. But VAERS shows that there have been 38,742 deaths reported on VAERS worldwide associated with the COVID vaccine. 38,742. 9,252 of those deaths occurred on the day of vaccination within 1 or 2 days.
I hope you guys appreciate that. 38,472 deaths reported from the vaccine in the VAERS system. And 9,252 of those deaths occurred on the day of the vaccination or within 1 to 2 days. Like, I just got the jab, and within 2 days, within 48 hours, 9,252 adults and 10 children, and I think that was in the testing.
My committee's got
That's asinine. And again, they censored us. God, we'll see what happens with this particular one. Health Secretary RFK Jr. just carried out a Maha promise, pouring over $700 million into regenerative farming, meaning fewer chemicals in our food. He says with soil health comes nutrient density. He's right. If we can get good soil again, put nutrients in the soil, the plants suck those things up. When they pop out of corn ear, it's got some nutrients in it, rather than the nutrient-less stuff. And now we've all got to take supplements and stuff to fix our diets because there's so much crap. Rasmussen Report's poll found that this fall showed 62% of Americans supported using the U.S. military to strike drug boats. So this whole thing in Venezuela. Rasmussen Reports, decent polling. 62% of Americans say, yeah, no, we're cool with this. This is the real number of us when it comes to voting, when it comes to a lot of what's happening right now. And again, I don't fully trust Rasmussen. They got numbers higher, but still, over 60%, folks. The numbers are growing. We are making a difference. Of course, the deep state, through the mainstream media, is going to continue to tell us crazy stuff. Mark Mitchell, Rasmussen. It blows my mind that Republicans have an investigation into Hegseth wasting drug terrorists, but not Hunter's laptop, Seth Rich, Pharma murder, Act Blue, January 6th, Reddit, election integrity, Ukraine corruption, Epstein, CCP spying, insider trading, tech election interference, etc. DHS inks contract to create its own fleet of 737 jets for deportations. the numbers are going to increase. We're working through the legal issues. Now they're making deals for jets. This is starting to happen, folks. We're going to be flying people out of here in decent numbers. 737s, and they've got a fleet of them. I want to say there's 6 of them, thought I saw written somewhere. Awarded a contract, 6 Boeing, 6 aircraft. Going to support the immigrations and customs enforcement deportations. 737s have pretty good range, especially if they're, I don't know if they're newer or not, but $140 million. It's cheaper if you look at how much money even prisons cost. That'll be huge. But just all the fraud, all the craziness, like so many things are going to happen. How many people that are actual criminals that we're going to deport possibly have Social Security numbers that are collecting benefits that we'll be able to shut down, right? It's going to be pretty powerful. The sounds of California. I wanted to make a CD one time called the Sounds of California, and it would be like leaf blowers. It'd be like trucks backing up, like beep, 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 because that's kind of stupid shit you hear all the time. Probably fire department stuff. You know, anytime the electric power company's involved. Actually, we put a lot of our power lines underground here, but the places apparently where they're above ground, we cause fires. Because that's what they say. Clinton-appointed federal judge tosses Trump's order halting wind energy projects, of course, another TRO, essentially, or, basically stopping Trump from doing something. It'll be appealed. It was a judge. We should get the judge name. U.S. District Judge Patty Saris. I believe that's a name we've heard before. Saris sounds familiar. District of Massachusetts. Definitely a place you can trust. I was just trying to be wicked, piss of funny. All said. Carrie, you guys remember the sister-in-law of Mitt Romney that apparently they're saying leapt to her death? Leapt meaning jumped. Didn't lick something because that might lap is licking, lapped. Anyway, whatever. She apparently jumped to her death. They're saying. Now you guys know me. I don't believe people. I mean, some do. There's been this weird Disney hotel thing that's been going on where people keep jumping out the hotel and dying and killing themselves. I actually think I got a reason for that, but it would sound so crazy. Maybe on a Thursday, if one of you guys hears me and wants to ask that question on a Thursday show, ask it, or at least on the StreamYard part afterwards. I'll be up for answering that. But yeah, outside of that, it's craziness that's happening. But yeah, apparently she killed herself. Carrie Elizabeth Romney. I don't believe that for a second. This dude's not a good guy. He is not a good guy. Let's see, Michael Schellenberger. It was good. It was decent. He's talking about the X censorship. It was actually pretty good, but it's too long for where we're at right now. Hungarian Prime Minister says Hungary will not comply with new EU migration quotas starting next year. The pact mandates that member states either accept a number of migrants or pay £20,000 or euros, per each person they refuse. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing either of those things. How about that? Yeah, please do not pass go. Please do not collect $200. Turkey plans drone facility in Pakistan. Interesting that Pakistan is also where the United States is being buddy-buddy, and India is going full Russia. So we're creating this weird little future, that's what it looks like to me anyways, future proxy location for U.S. tech. But at least Turkey's getting in on the game, and so that's good. It'll be good for Turkey in the big picture. Turkey is a Muslim country, but they are NATO also. They are friends of the United States for sure. Erdogan is somebody that we dig, and he is also somebody that not real fond of Israel. But he's, again, I got respect. I got mad respect for Turkey. In Turkey, by the way, it's funny, I got a video game I play, and there's some people in their group that are from Turkey, which I think is kind of cool. But needless to say, they are a country to be reckoned with, unquestionably. They are, in the Middle East, I would argue, one of the most powerful militaries. They're pretty awesome. Thailand and Cambodia fighting rages on, but Trump's basically telling them, like, look, you all need to stop this ASAP or else. We're going to nuke both of you. That's how you do that. I'm just kidding, but it's like, we could destroy both of you with just like that. And nobody would probably care. We actually would. I mean, especially Thailand. There's a lot of pedophiles that would be very upset. Can't do that. So we're not going to do that. Don't worry, pedophiles. And if you guys don't know, Thailand's this weird place where a lot of men go that are middle-aged. Not always bringing back a wife, but going and coming back happier. But yeah, underage stuff, big time out there. It's very popular, very common. Ukraine and its Western backers are trying to ceasefire trick. That's not going to work. Trump's not going to support it. Russia's not going to support it, so it won't matter. But that's what the European Union's trying to do, is do the ceasefire. Just stop fighting, right? And then we get peace that way. But Russia and the United States both know all they're going to do is rearm, refuel, re-equip, get as many people to the front line. It'll just make everything worse. Now, Russia needs to continue its momentum, or you sign an acceptance that you got beat. That's it. That's it. In a nutshell. So Europe's not going to be able to negotiate nonsense at all. Apparently an active British soldier died in Ukraine. Tragic accident, they're saying. He was involved in training or some nonsense like that, but he died. And it was supposedly testing some new defensive capability that did not go well. And the individual, who was not on the front lines, somehow died from the war. Again, very sad. Why do we wear berets, Guy? Well, I know that England is weird, but why? I could look it up. Maybe I will. But they're so gay looking. Why? Why do we do that? The green berets are badass. I would never say that. Why? Isn't it like a French thing or something? Beret. It's a French thing, isn't it? You guys know your history really well. There's probably some really cool story, and then I'll feel bad. Like France was our best friend during the Revolutionary War, right? They're dickheads now, or they dickheads, at least. Whatever. Trump on NATO. They call me daddy. Who's your daddy? Trump. Trump's your daddy. Kind of cool, because he's talking about bringing peace and NATO and money, and anyway, here it is.
So how involved are you going to get? Could we see you getting involved in European
I want to run the
for
United
example?
States. I don't want to run Europe. I'm involved in Europe very much.
Might you endorse
NATO
candidates?
calls me daddy. I have a lot to say about it. Look, I raised, the GDP from 2% to 5%. The 2% they weren't paying and the 5% they are paying. And they're paying it because when we send things over, NATO pays for it, and I assume they give it to Ukraine. But Europe is being destroyed.
Europe sucks balls, pretty much. It's true. Zelensky says he's ready for elections after Trump indicated an obstacle to peace. He said, since this issue is being raised by the U.S. president and our European partners, I'll be brief, I am ready. I asked the U.S., together with Europe, to ensure security for the vote, which means they're going to cheat. Well, if the U.S. is involved, they won't. But if Europe is, they will. They'll somehow vote him in again. So he's asking now for that. He's probably talked to Europe and said, can you help me rig this so we can get elected again and I can tell the world to fuck off? And they're like, yeah, we could do that. But Trump's going to be like, no, you can't, actually. We'll make sure of it. So we'll see. Again, we're having a proxy war with Europe right now via Ukraine. That's actually what's happening. Russia's not the problem. Europe is. So this is how it's going to continue to play out. I think we're almost there, guys. Israel launched a new wave of attacks against Lebanon. They keep breaking the ceasefire and then claiming the other side broke the ceasefire, but we don't really hear about that as much as we do about you guys breaking the ceasefire, Israel. So, Israel, could you stop breaking ceasefires? Because it seems counterproductive to the bigger picture. Ceasefire's in place. We're going to blow you up anyways. We don't particularly care. And then if you shoot at us, then, oh, hey, he broke the ceasefire. I'll look like that Keir Starmer guy, right? Like someone just stuck something up, right? Like, nah, God, that guy's crazy. I didn't say it again. It was pretty funny, though. I'm going to say it again. I will I will back that up. Okay, disturbing photo shows moment comedian Andy Dick. I don't know. He's such a hater of Trump that I feel bad for him and his drug problem. But Andy Dick is a pedophile, admitted. He has assaulted sexually a male. That case, I think it was a tough case, but this dude's gotten busted. I think he was in trouble for it. But he was drugged out. He's got a drug problem, but he's never been able to quit. Like he doesn't believe he can. Again, I believe anybody can quit doing drugs. The guy's not dead yet, so obviously this is something that he wants to try to figure out how to work through. But some random stranger saw him and realized that he was OD'd. It got him one of those, not Novcam, what are those pens called? The Narcan, there it is. One of those things. And all you cops know that. Like, Narcan, man, don't you know that? It's like, no, I don't know that. I don't hang out with a bunch of crackheads. I have no idea about this stuff. I smoke pot. That's the worst thing I do. And it's legal here, so you can't get too mad at me. Occasionally I do mushrooms. Yeah. And I drink. I'm like that. That's it. All my shit in a nutshell. All my friends love Coke. I'm like their best friend. They love me. They bring me out. They're like, come on, Dan, we're going out to do Coke. And it's like, oh, cool. Come out and watch you guys. It's always fun. Weird. I got one friend that's like a germaphobe, but he'll do off the nastiest table. Oh my God, it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand it at all. He's a germaphobe. Literally. If you smudge his phone, he gets all pissed off. He freaks out on you. The dude will roll up $1 and write on a nasty table. It's just insanity. Anyway, that's what druggies do. That's what druggies do. In fact, there was a story we had earlier where they kept talking about Gateway. I was just laughing because that's one of my other friends. That's his nickname. They call him Gateway because he was the one that got everybody addicted to Coke. Not me, but he did. Apparently he had some. He wanted to get rid of it, so they tried it, and then one of them fell in love. The guy that's got the germ problem. Anyway, I love these guys. I've known them a long time. I've known them 15 years. They started this Coke thing like 4 or 5 years ago, if that. I don't approve of it, but whatever. It is what it is. I love these guys. This is kind of cute. I don't know. It's kind of on the same subject, if you will, but these are worse people. But I love beautiful stories in a weird kind of way. Leslie Harris has missed the most milestones in his daughter's life while serving a decades-long sentence in Louisiana for armed robbery and is unlikely to get out before her prom, her graduation, and maybe her wedding. But for one night at Louisiana's largest maximum security prison, Harris made his own moment with his 17-year-old daughter while donning a custom tux and clutching a bouquet of roses, reuniting at the prison's first father-daughter dance, where they embraced Stevie Wonder's Isn't She Lovely? It's going to make me cry. I don't know. It's jail. These guys are all bad guys, right? But they got kids. And that's just freaking cool. That's all I can say. It's freaking cool. We have a chance, guys. Society might make it. We'll see. I love you guys. We'll keep fighting the fight. We'll keep doing it together. I'll try to get a little shorter in my life. I don't know. I had a good rant in there at some point. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I think it was important. I love you guys. I'm trying my best. All I can say is we're doing this together. And I appreciate each and every one of you for all your efforts. You guys are amazing. Where we go one, we go all. I mean that. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.